Thank you so much, Laure. Yeah, she did say Quickshot. Welcome to Quickborg Gold Shot.
Don't make it happen. Stop it. No, don't do anything, please.
It does not work as well as Troubleshot. I'm sorry.
Yes,
better name.
I beg of you, just stop.
Okay, definitely the case. Welcome to the cast today. Myself and Guldborg will bring you the first 2 games today. And just as Freddie was alluding to, if they can win against SK, Rogue will be guaranteed first seed. It will also mean 1, 2, 3, 4 is locked. And the most likely opponent that Rogue would pick would be Misfits or who could be third? G2? So I highly doubt they'll be picking G2. There's a lot here that Rogue are playing for. What do you want to see them do? Because we talked extensively about the problems in the mid game.
I love what you have just discussed on the desk as well, because to me, Rogue in the early game, it shows a clear understanding and is one of the best LEC teams we have at the early game in terms of finding pressure in the lanes, using that pressure to find gold leads, because as you said, they throw gold leads at 7k. To me, it's the inconsistencies that we have seen, the overextension, sometimes the draft against Matt Lions as well, where they didn't have a clear win condition. So today, we want that stylistic to come through.
And I want you to point it out for me. So we'll keep our eyes on this. And obviously, as SK Gaming have been eliminated from playoffs, their 2021 LEC season concludes with this Nexus falling. What damage can they do? How many problems can they cause the top 6 if they surprise Rogue today?
You know what? I don't want to see a surprise. I want to see Rogue solidify that first place. I want to say, you know what? SK, not even a playoffs teams. Rogue, from the spring finals last time around, they can't show inconsistencies. They got reverse swept.
You have to go even bigger, not just the finals, Guldborg. For the 3rd regular season in a row, the possibility to place first. They were first last summer. They were tied first last spring. And with the win here, they'll be first again. Yet, in one finals, a reverse sweep. And I think, you know, Freddie been quite earnest and honest in his interview, talking about those challenges. So, now that we've done a lot of scene setting, catch back up on the draft. Mundo, Thresh, Kalista removed. Very targeted bans, obviously, followed by the Xin Zhao and the Lucian. Not too surprising.
Yeah, one of the interesting here from Rogue is that they have also shown a lot of priority, I was just going to say it, on the Varus, but if SK Gaming is banning away the Varus, you're also leaving the option open of the Viego, which is one of the strongest skirmishers still in the jungle because of the early game damage he gets from that Q passive, the ability to skirmish, and obviously the soul possession. So while he's no longer strong in a lane, still very much a strong jungler that Inspired can use.
And of course, it's 3 games played for Inspired, 2 wins under his belt. This will now be his most played champion in summer. Nobody on the side of Treatz or SK have played that just yet in recent times. And for SK, what is the response to the Viego? A very early lock-in on Orianna. And the second time, we'll see that in Blue's hands, but the control mage is continuing to show popularity on 11-15 on Super Weekend.
And that is very interesting. Yesterday as well, we saw the Orianna to come through, but the response pick immediately was the Twisted Fate to come through, a champion that we have seen flourish again more and more, and obviously on the side of SK, pick it up with the Leona. At their best, SK, they have this champion on their side. Lilipp seems so comfortable on it. He's so good at finding skirmishes on this champion. We even saw it against Misfits yesterday as well, where they wreaked havoc in the early game and actually made that game very competitive.
Guldborg, I got a quick stat for you. How many games has Larssen played on Twisted Fates?
Oh god, I don't even know. 6?
5 games. How many games has he won on Twisted Fates?
All of them.
100% win ratio for Larssen's Twisted Fate with an average KDA of 18. Or a total KDA, I guess would be better. Anyways, followed up by the Camille as well. Split push, side lanes, do not get caught alone.
It's the thing, right? You see the Twisted Fate. Twisted Fate means, okay, we don't want to team fight too much. We want to be able to capitalize on a side lane. And therefore, Rogue, immediately, they're going for the Camille on towards Odoamne. So it looks like from what we're seeing now that the bot lane is going to be the weaker point, and Rogue, they're going to be looking to play for Odo in the top side.
Interesting case, yeah, and of course the option Twisted Fate to impact both lanes. Will be fun to watch. Treatz will lock in his 12th unique champion this summer for a team that has had multiple roster swaps across several weeks. SK Gaming have got one of the largest champion pools of all players, and I think it does come from trying to find what style you want to play. But with the Orianna, with the Leona, with the Olaf, I see Deathball go in press off.
Yes, okay, I'll give you a little question. Who do you think of all the junglers in the LEC has the highest damage percentage shares of the junglers.
I would imagine Treatz is what you're trying to get at.
Exactly, and it's because, and it's very surprising as well, especially when we have a league with Selfmade, but Treatz, he's so aggressive. It's some of the things we see that comes through from a lot of these champions. You mentioned it, the unique picks, the Nocturnes, now the Olaf as well to come through. He is so aggressive and a pivotal force for SK.
I'm taking a look through Treatz' professional career, and this will be his first professional Olaf game, obviously because he was a support previously. But as the Phase 2 bans have been removed, the Draven to deny any potential lane pressure from Hansama, the Ziggs as well, to allow him some of that freedom. And as Guldborg, you were talking about, allow Rogue to focus on the top half of the map, but Jenax will be locking in the Jax, his 13th unique champion.
I was actually very surprised while we were having a little quiz game here that Jax was not one of the banned champions. The Counter-Strike, not only is it very good into Camille, but it also cancelled the stun card to come through. It's just immediately removed. So Jax, a really good pick to come through in a rotation where Rogue has went for Twisted Faith and Camille.
I really wonder if Rogue will look for some form of disengage here, because I see a whole lot of run in, go fast. Xayah, Rakan, the lovers duo on the Rift. That will give you some safety. Obviously that Feather Storm, some of the abilities to root some targets. And of course, again, a lot of pick potential. I think for Rogue, a lot of tools to control the map. But if SK are ever able to start a fight, they are really going to be able to run down Rogue.
Yeah, they definitely are, but the problem is right now that you are playing Rakan into the Leona, and Leona, a champion with a lot of CC, is able to disrupt Rakan in this. Pair that up with the fact that a lot of the champions right now from SK, it's hard to get onto them. If you get onto the Jax while he has the Counter-Strike, not too much damage you can get through. Olaf as well, obviously able to make himself unstoppable, and Orianna should be, from a range perspective, away from Trymbi. So what we're looking for on Rogue is a stylistic here where we have a topside focused game plan, because you want to be able to open up the map. You want to be able to get away from the team fighting, because you see the Orianna, you see the Leona, and you see the wombo combo potential as well.
Yeah, you really do, but good luck trying to land a shockwave. I feel,
yes.
I think the way that Rogue will want to play those team fights, plus the mobility and some of the innate skills, will make it challenging. But it will also be fairly difficult, I think, for Rogue if SK have got the right setup. Whenever you do have some of those comps that maybe want to play side lanes or want to play on multiple lanes, the way you deal with that is lock down one, jump on them, and SK got the tools for that.
Yeah, they definitely have, and also the early game is something we need to pay attention to because of the fact that we have an Olaf, a champion that doesn't scale all too well. Obviously, we saw yesterday with Selfmade piloting it as well. He didn't do all too much in the late game. He was there to die and facilitate the rest of his team.
Well, it's going to be a very difficult task because the goal difference at 15 on average for Rogue is plus 2,447, which for SK it's minus 905. Rogue, if they win, lock first seed for playoffs. Woo-wee. Okay, welcome to the Rift, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody else. That was a fairly high-intensity pick and ban. We're very excited here in the LEC studio in Berlin. It's great to be able to see the games. It's also very exciting with the results from yesterday that there is still some shenanigans afoot. And I think as we now get onto the Rift, we can take a look at Summoner Spells, Ignite, Teleport for Odo's Camille, going into Jenax with their Flash TP. I'm not seeing anything else too surprising just yet.
I'm actually quite surprised that SK didn't opt in for a split map situation. Obviously, with an Olaf and with the Jax in the 1v1 against Camille and the Viego, you could be able to force them away, force the Viego to start on the bot side instead, and be forced to play for his bot side so the Camille can't get that attention that you would like instead. So, interesting adaptation instead, but nonetheless, Treatz is still starting, as it seems right now, on the bottom side of the map, and this is because he can path up towards the top side and make sure the Jax is put in a good position.
Okay, well, when you say is make sure he's put in a good position, let's watch this play out. You can already see that SK Gaming ward in the tri-bush. It just got a little ping. There's that Rogue ward just behind the chicken cap from SK. And I want to see how Treatz handles this Olaf. He played that Gwen a couple days ago. Did not have an impact, and SK as a team had an awful drop. Then yesterday we're able to rectify that and have significantly better performance. And now today, again, new champion for him for Jenax this summer. And, of course, the ability to create some chaos at the top of the table for Rogue.
Yeah, definitely. I also want to talk a bit about this Camille-Jax matchup, actually, because a lot of people have the statement that because Jax obviously has the counter-strike, he's going to be able to counter Camille, but there's actually more to this matchup. With the hook shot on the Camille, he's actually able to bounce him back. So every time Jax jumps on you, you can actually push him out of range with the hook shot stun and then run away. So there is some more micro going into this matchup as well that we may pay attention to if it does happen late up in this top side.
And of course, both Jenax and Odoamne players have no real problems jumping into your face and causing trouble. You'll notice that Treatz was making his way to the top of the map. And of course, with that passive shield, will also help out in trading significantly. So Odo's got himself a small advantage, gigantic minion wave, the Hunt Summon Trymbi you're jumping right forward into. You're fighting the extra man. The bomb's going to explode now. Lilipp's on the wrong side of the rift. He's making his way out to the tower. It's Jezu, in fact, who's on the wrong side. He will get gold carded out. Early teleport from Larssen. Inspired has joined as well. Flash is on cooldown. Jezu uses the heal. 400 hit points. He's got to get burned through. All of a sudden, the chase comes out. That's one flash. Root, gold card, wild cards. It's Larssen that gets a kill.
Initially, I really love the aggression to come out from SK. Jezu has been doing a phenomenal job with this aggression. We saw it yesterday as well in the game against Misfits, but the response, once again, it's just there immediately from the side of Rogue. They had the mid priority, which means that Larssen is able to TP in without losing any resources at all, as Blue is pushing in the wave that he's going to be grabbing as soon as he's back. And there you have it, a stack wave. Larssen's going to get back. He's not going to be losing too much.
Now, of course, the other side of this is that Jezu does. I think he would have lost a fair amount of those minions. It looks like most of them have died out. Lilipp got a little bit of a frustration play there on Hansama as he interrupted the recoil, and that means Hansama will be a little late to lane, but this is how it started.
Yeah, but I can respect it. You know, it also comes from solo queue as well with a lot of Tristana, is that as soon as you hit that level 2, you just need to go and look at the flash initially from Jezu. It is good mechanical plays to come out of it, but the problem is the call behind it, the lack of priority, and also inspired pathing down towards the bottom side of the map. It's what's making this play go wrong. Initially, I like the idea once again, but it's just the execution that's not there really.
Now the question is, will all of the summoner spells that Rogue invested hurt them? Yes, teleport was gained. Yes, Larssen did not lose as much in lane, and notice Jezu down 16 CS, no flash, no heal, no rocket jump. Trymbi hooks him and sets it up. That was a great interrupt.
That was a great interrupt, but at the same time, as Tristana, you need to be able to play with the buffer. That's what Jezu tried to do there. He failed on the mechanic, and immediately he's just dead. No flash, no heal. It's a disastrous early game for SK already.
0 to 20 minutes. This is the Rogue comfort zone, one of the most impressive early game teams in the league. What did Freddy say? And I quote, "Yeah, it's when we're 7,000 gold up that problems occur." And that will be one of the big discussions going into playoffs, because obviously Rogue, on the cusp of taking first seed, they do need to work on these errors. They've made it to a finals but got reverse swept. So that's why we've been quite critical and why we expect what you're seeing. This lead is what you should see from a number 1 versus number 10 team.
They're kind of like reverse Astralis, right? with those strats, but coming in now with the priority from the bot lane as well, you can see, if you take a look at the minimap, Trymbi is out on roaming duty, and he can do this because Hansama get a kill, gets to push in the wave. Now the wave is bouncing back to him in the bottom lane, and he can freely wait for Trymbi to be back. Really nicely done once again from Rogue, and one of the things we often highlight about their early game is how well they actually play around with their early game. It's the small things, but it's all the small things that does Rogue to such a good early game team.
It's additive. You build on a foundation that allows you to maintain control of the game. And look at the threat. Just Trymbi stepping forward. Jezu and Lilipp have to back away. And this is a very concerning sign for SK Gaming, because Jezu has been one of the players that helps SK close out the game. Lilipp is your initiator, followed up mostly by Treatz, and Jezu, one of the consistents. Look at that, 20 KDA, 500 damage per minute, drops to 380. Damage share, drops several percentage points. His KP is higher. Right now, this player is 0-2.
Oh no, Blue's just dead here.
Yeah, he will be. Gold card, hook shot, easily killed. Oh no, gets the final hit. 3 kills to 0, 2,000 gold up. I think Rogue are mad after being pushed this weekend.
It's so efficient by Rogue as well, and I think you're absolutely right. They're here to make that statement game we talked about, and they're not even done.
Nope, not at all. Get a nice treat for Hans Summer. Fly over the wall with the Lovers duo. 4 kills to 0. For everyone at home, the theme that Guldborg and I had when we wanted to watch this cast was to highlight some of the more problematic areas of Rogue's game that stronger teams can punish. And we expected a strong showing. That's what you want to see from a team that, for 3 splits in a row, has been the #1 in the regular season. But this is just obliteration from the bottom lane.
This is exactly what we want, but I'm not sold yet, Trevor. And the reason for that is also because what we have talked about the desk, what we just heard Freddy talk about in the interview as well, is that they've managed to throw 7k gold leads. There is that rogue time we talk about, is that when you reach the 20-minute mark, it's a mistake that always happens, and it is not the same consistent mistake. It's either an overstep or a guy caught off guard. So many of these mistakes from Rogue that's just piling together at this minute mark.
Yeah, and of course later in the season as well, you can see even in losses, positive gold leads early on. So we'll watch that later on. For now, 4 kills to 0. Taking a look across the lanes, there's a plate secured in both middle and bottom in favor of Rogue. Jenax is going to step forward at that leap. The Hextech ultimatum will block at least one. That's Bun buying enough time for Inspired and Larssen to join the fray, and just another easy kill. Jenax started the fight, but he simply could not finish it.
And that's the thing, right now from SK, the map is just falling apart already. Your bot, it's not winning. The mid lane always pushed in, and Trymbi, he's not even done.
That was just beautiful. The Buster Shot manages to keep Jezu alive for a moment or two, but the the feathers into the knock-up. Trymbi and Hans Summer, 79 CS to 49. 2 plates at 8 minutes. Got themselves 2 kills as well, and I just think Jezu and Lilipp currently being outclassed. Once again, knocked up into the air. No support anywhere from the rest of SK. And it is a tough final game of the year for Jezu and Lilipp right now.
Yeah, this right now can be very dangerous because Odoamne is on the way back. Inspired has hit level 6 himself, and right now Larssen is getting mid lane priority. So Rogue, they could look to try and push SK away from this one. They have no priority to back this up. I think SK, you'll have to run away.
Hextech ultimatum is on cooldown. Tactical sweep not going to find the range just yet. Wildcards are chucked out. Optimistic Fish and Rogue elect not to fight. We're missing 2 crucial ultimates as well as that ignite. And frankly, don't take a risk you don't need to. They've got a 3,500 gold lead before 10 minutes. Zenith Blade, Solar Flare, not enough to kill Trymbi because he's bought the time to turn it around. Lilipp stays alive just enough. Feathers fly, pull them back. That's 1 for 1, and Hans Summer's not yet done. 3-0. But it did cost Trymbi his life, and SK get the first kill.
Yeah, they get the first kill, but to take it all the way back, to recap as well, the difference between the AD carries right now, you can clearly see it in the goal. Even Trymbi going down, Jezu didn't even pick up that kill. That was Lilipp that got it. At the same time, in the mid lane as well, look at the deficit between Blue and Larssen. Blue has just been clearing waves also all the game so far. It's all he's been able to do on Orianna. It's why that when Orianna is blind picked, a Twisted Fate pick, will always be great to just come in with it because it's so hard for her to do anything.
Ding, ding, ding. 2 mythic items pre-10 minutes.
You're kidding
already.
That's crazy.
Both Twisted Fate and Xayah have already done so. That gold lead is gigantic. And I think I'm going to make a little bit of a bold statement here. I think this might be Hans Summer's best season ever. I think there's maybe an argument to be made. Maybe best year if you look at both spring and summer combined. Variation in the picks, the impact he's having with the team, making it to finals obviously last spring, and now all of a sudden, when pressure gets turned up, Summer's playing very, very well.
I definitely think you have the stats as well to back that up with some of the highest 2v2 kills we get through coming through with this one for Hans Summer. So deadly, even drawing a lot of bans as well from the Kalista. Rogue this time around banned it themselves, I believe, but it's still the fact that there's so many threats on Rogue, and Hans Summer sure is a case for that as well.
Yeah, I mean, this tower's going to fall here. And I think, just alive for a few seconds longer. The minions may be able to finalize it. Bombs will kill them just before that tower can fall. And I think I want to put a lot of praise here onto Trymbi as well. Is one of the players that needed to develop between spring and now. And last weekend, I think, I got to sit down and chat to him on PGL. And that young man is extremely humble. Honestly, doesn't recognize the ability and the impact he has. You think of some of those Blitzcrank hooks yesterday were fantastic. Some of the knockups on Rakan today. And he's a huge influence on starting these engages for Hans Summer.
He definitely is.
Gold card will get caught up by Shockwave, flashed away. Ragnarok comes up. Destiny and Gate will not be able to be channeled. DHL dead body to the middle lane.
I am not sure what Larssen was doing there. He did clearly not have the intel onto where Treatz was on the map. There was nowhere his jungler was to back him off. He was clearing his own jungle, and now you're pushing your gold lead a little bit back. It's not going to cost you the game. You're still going to be getting the first turret down in the bottom side of the map, but it was an unreasonable decision to go for that's giving SK leverage back in this game.
A little bit of a misplay. Multiple plates in that middle lane, and it is the Twisted Fate as well. Is thrown out as Inspired starts to step forward, but SK are able to escape. So a small glimmer of hope, but keep your eyes on this Xayah. 122 CS, 3 kills to 0 already. Lost the tower, and now Rogue can start to play around the map. They're going to start a little bit of invade, but there's no support yet.
Yeah, but remember, there is still a Twisted Fate that could join here.
It may not even be needed. Heartbreaker is still available if Inspired wants it. While that's going on, Trymbi's going to be able to knock Lilipp up into the air. He gets chunked up, burnt down. Solar Flare comes out, and that won't even tag or stop Hunt where he stands. Still got himself that flash and the cleanse, and Blue with the flash escapes.
Yeah, he does get out with the flash, but once again, he's losing so many resources in the mid lane, and I wonder if we can put up the gold as well, so we can just right now see the difference between Larssen and Blue. That's a 1k gold deficit. And remember, Larssen even died just before to give Blue some gold back over, which was already unreasonable. The huge deficit that is coming out here once again, it's the ability of Rogue, how they play around with their pressure in lanes. It's incredible.
I mean, it really, really is. And of course, when you look season-wide at some of their statistics, on average, plus 2.4k gold lead. First tower in 82% of the games. They'll go up just a little bit as they get this one as well. Now Larssen is under a little bit of threat, but there is support. For Rogue, looking stronger and stronger. 5,000 gold lead. They're going to jump onto one, turn their attention to Lilipp, and the rest of SK running for their life. Shockwave will pull 3 back, but there's nearly no damage, really, to speak of. The wild cards are flown by, and Inspired breaks the hearts of SK Gaming. Turns himself into Leona, gets the Zenith Blade as well. Shield of Daybreak not available just yet. Buster shot backwards. Jezu manages to time it just at the right moment, but 2 members of SK down, 6,000 gold difference.
And once again, such a smart rotation for Rogue to come through as well. Like SK is in their jungle, their bottom lane. Remember, they just pushed in the turret. The minion waves are crashing already down towards the bottom, and therefore Handsome with Trymbi, they have time to expend. They have downtime on the map where they can just move up towards the top side, where they're finding Treatz overextended, trying to look for a dive on towards Larssen here.
Of course, this started from there's a phrase sometimes that you hear in sports, chasing the loss, where you are in a negative situation and you chase to try and get away, to try force something proactive. Unfortunately, it ends up being the loss. And once again, SK, they started this fight and they lose 2.
Yeah, it's desperation as well, because you do have that Olaf. You do have to look for something in the early game, and you even put up your own bot lane there as well to try and facilitate that skirmish. But the problem is, once again, Rogue, they were just ahead of that play. And now they've even rotated, obviously, the Odoamne down towards the bottom side of the map, so now they can contest on the top side of the map.
Now, I'm very happy you mentioned that. Jenax, by the way, with a 25 CS advantage, has quietly been farming himself into a powerful position. Odoamne has influenced his team's plays. Multiple teleports, hence, 4 of his 9 teams, been involved in 4 of his team's 9 kills. But you got to keep an eye on Jenax. I think things are looking a little bit bleak. But we're nearly going to hit that 7,000 gold lead. We're going to hit that 20-minute moment where we want to see how Rogue play. We want to see how they press their advantage. Remember yesterday, they overforced. They pushed a little too hard, and that ultimately cost them. Yeah,
there is a Drake as well that's spawning in a minute, so it's going to be less than a minute with 10 seconds coming in. And right now, the call for Rogue seems to be that they want Handsome soloing out the Herald, while the rest of the team might try and contest for this Drake as well. And with the resets that's coming through right now, I think Rogue just might win out all over the play. You love to see this as a jungler as well. Inspired, he's able to just make a fast clear, rotate down towards the dragon. You even get the AD carry with the Herald, who you already wanted to have an influx of gold with on the second tier 2 turret, and now you get to have this setup on the Drake. Rogue, because of all these special factors, gets to take over the entirety of the map without losing anything.
Yeah, I mean, next time, if you see that setup in a moment, if you try to draw that on the screen to highlight it. Rogue playing excellently around. 3rd tower is about to fall in their favor. 2nd dragon. And this is a really, really tough day at the office for SK Gaming. Already eliminated from playoffs. A few weeks back, I heard someone reference them as the role swap team. Remember that Jenax went from mid to top. Treatz from support to jungle. With multiple supports Blue joined the league a little bit late, wasn't able to get there from the start. So factoring all of those things combined, then once obviously Treatz and Lilipp started playing together, SK looked a little bit more threatening. But today, Lilipp's penchant for aggression has been punished beautifully. They are being destroyed by the #1 team in the league. And it is so difficult when you think of all those swaps, all the challenges, the limited experience they have to come up against one of the best early game teams with one of the strongest, smartest junglers that we have in Europe.
You're completely right, and you know, that for SK with the early aggression we saw for Lilipp might have worked against the other teams, but it's not just a 2v2 when you're taking a fight down towards the bot lane, you're fighting the entirety of Rogue, and now up towards the top side of the map. There is the ultimate for Larssen as well. They have a lot of pink wards.
Look at the items. Look at the itemization difference here just before this fight. Jezu is thrift shopping. He's got nothing completed. He's going up against Kraken Slayer plus Essence Reaver. There's also sitting Everfrost Rapid Fire Cannon already. 1.5 items on Blue. There's such a significant difference in combat stats. And for SK, they need Rogue to overextend. They need them to make a Rogue moment. And then they'll look to punish, but they do have the tools to do so.
Now, I want to highlight as well the fact that you can actually see on the minimap that Larssen actually cleverly pushed in the mid lane, put himself up towards the top side of the map, which forces a man advantage where Rogue, or rather SK, can do nothing about it, and they're just forced to back up immediately. So once again, it's this pressure we see that comes on for Rogue, how they get it in the mid lane and they push it immediately out to a side lane.
And remember as well, it's the threat of the engage. Just the fact that Larssen visibly leaves the lane, steps into the jungle, and you know is in range of Destiny. SK Gaming have to respect it. I love that you highlighted that on the minimap because you saw SK back out and back away. And I would like to take a brief moment to talk about these top laners because we're now getting to 1.5, 2 items. Both Jenax and Odo have got champions that can almost solo win games if you play the lanes correctly. And Jenax may be a nuisance, a thorn in the side, but it's going to be very difficult because of the item disparity.
Exactly, and he can be that as well, but something Rogue has done beautifully this game is that every time Jenax has engaged on towards Odoamne with the counter-strike, as soon as that is on cooldown, Larssen has been there to punish in a side lane. He did it first time up towards the top side of the map, and then after down with the lane rotations came through, down towards the bottom side of the map. So even when Jenax is put in a position where he should win the 1v1, Larssen is just there to make sure that that's not going to happen.
Well, right now, Trymbi's trying to set something up. We're 2 minutes until Dragon. Keep your eyes on the minimap. Every time I look at the minimap, Rogue do leave the SK jungle with multiple wards. You know, they pushed to that top lane. Managed to take the inner turrets. We're nearly 20 minutes in, and 9,000, 9,500 lead. It is just an enormous gap as Jenax is almost being solo killed just from Ansama. Let's have another BF sword, but that is just so much damage that Jenax cannot stand toe-to-toe and won't be able to for a very long time. I take back everything I said about Jax.
Great, and even in the 2v2 situation with AD carry and Lilipp here, well, what are you going to do if you go and they're still too far ahead? They have the disengage of the Featherstorm, they have the cleanse as well from Ansama, Trymbi, all his summoner spells as well. You just don't win this, but 15 to 10 seconds, and we are entering Rogue time as well.
Yeah, we are indeed. Jezu just picked up his Mythic, he's still down 50 CS. There was a 2-level disparity until I just started that sentence as Jezu hit level 11. 1 minute to go. Vision, is it deep enough for your liking in favor of Rogue as they've got themselves 2 dragons? What are you going for? Earth, Wind, and Fire.
I actually love that you're highlighting this, Trevor, because we also have a Drake that's spawning in less than 1 minute. You have the Baron as well, and you can clearly see all the vision that's already laid out by Rogue very aggressively here as well. Thank you, observers, for showing it in pictures. So even if you're putting your attention up towards the top side of the map, if SK wants to go down and contest the Drake, they have to get through and clear some of this vision already, and they have that, you know, scare in their mind, in the back of their head, that Larssen might be able to join a fight whenever he pleases just because of that destiny.
I mean, it's such a difficult situation for SK because those first couple of kills, that first engage you talked about that allowed Ansama to pick up the kill, it just unlocked so much. And I think I want to obviously go back and praise how Rogue responded. They very, very early, very quickly committed their TPs. And importantly, they made it work. And they've snowballed that advantage now. But as the map is now significantly wider, this is where you do tend to see the game slow down a little. It's much more risky, much more difficult to push so deep into the enemy territory. And arguably part of the reason why some of those mistakes, some of those missteps have appeared in Rogue's games.
You're certainly correct, but at the same time as well, you're so far ahead right now that the game plan right now should be, let's get the Drake, let's put the soul point on the map, keep mid lane pushed in, and move on towards the side lane. When the side lanes are pushed as well, then we can start collapsing on the mid lane instead. You just want to trim away as much as you can, get as much aggressive vision on towards the side of SK as well, take away their camps, make sure there is nothing on the map they can use as resources, so not only are they losing farm because they are forced to back away from the turrets while defending, because Handsummer, for example, so fed when he's there, but they're also forced away from their own camps because they can't do much about it. So SK, they're put in this desperate situation where they need to find a pick as a unit. They need to find one of these shutdown. They need to find an overextension from Rogue, and that's the important part, because right now, Rogue needs to make a mistake.
I mean, they do. And of course, for Rogue, the reason they don't want to, they want to look ahead to Sunday evening. They want to set their sights on, you know, a boogie wonderland where they can celebrate and be happy. If they win this game, they not only will guarantee first seed, also the top 4 will be locked. Jenax should die in a moment or two. He's got a lot of damage to turn around into Larssen. Flashes away. Jenax, even with 2 items completed, is a threat. He's forced to run away from Odo. 3 members were needed, and I now take back what I took back about Jax. He is scary with items.
He is scary, and it also because he waited out with the Counter-Strike before he saw that gold card to come through, and it was really nicely played from Jenax, but once again, so far behind. Larssen immediately backs, recalls, TP's now back in the fight.
Well, Inspired's going to be able to steal away the blue buff. Hookshot is held on to Odoamne. They threatens it. The knockup is short. The shockwave catches Trymbi, pulls him backward. He flies back to safety. Now Larssen is throwing up those wildcards from behind. Odoamne joins the fray, gets the auto. Larssen gets the kill. And Inspired steals the body of Lilipp once more.
And it's a disaster for SK as well, because even when the execution for Rogue right now is not perfect, because it's not. They're missing so many of their setups or their team fighting abilities here. Trymbi even flashing forward, missing the ultimate grand entrance. They're just so far ahead that SK can't capitalize on it. They can't punish the mistake. They don't win these fights.
And I think it is important to address that the setup wasn't great. Took 3 members to kill Jenax in the team fight. Imagine if it wasn't a 10,000 gold difference. Imagine if the itemization in your inventory was not at the amount that it is. Odoamne steps a little bit forward. No baby cage available to him, and nobody else is pushing just yet. Here comes Inspired support from SK. So Odo had backup, but again, to go back to it, and I do realize some people may think we're harping on about this mid game. It is really just to make sure everyone is aware and seeing it. Rogue were a finalist for, you know, spring and lost, and it is something that a lot of teams are looking and talking about, and you can see it even in this game. I don't think it's the most perfect example.
I definitely...
When you get over 10k gold lead, you do tend to play fast and loose.
But you know what? I'm happy about this as well, because this is what we wanted to see from Rogue. We wanted to see them to be able to obtain their lead, to not throw it away. We are still seeing some of these glimpses here where they get very aggressive, as Freddy already mentioned in the interview, which can be a scrim habit from them, because they just want to end the game as soon as possible and just get it done with. But this time around, they are just so ahead that it does not matter. In SK, they're struggling to find any leverage. Just now, Jenax got the first turret of the game for SK.
I mean, 24 minutes in, he's still got a significant CS advantage over Odoamne. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter just yet. I think it is still too significant of an advantage. 2 minutes until the next cloud. Destiny, Gate, Gold Card.
Wow.
That was, what, 50% of Jezu's HP? 3 items completed for Larssen already, and that should open up the opportunity for Baron.
He had the passive with the stacked deck, he had the gold card, he had the Lich Bane as well, together with the rapid fire cannon. Like, he is throwing nukes from further away than a Caitlyn range there.
Well, 10,000 gold up. A stolen Baron could make it work. Blast Cone is not available. Treatz does not have flash. What is the engage going to be? Shockwave and under 2. Step forward from Treatz. He can't get into the Riven at this row. Ragnarok available. Simply nothing. Holding the Shockwave for a potential fight. Baron is secured. Lilipp is down. SK, pick a lane. Don't dawdle. Don't demand Deander around. And unfortunately now SK are just getting wrecked. Shockwave finally catches 3 or 4. Blue, well done on that one, but it simply is too little. It simply is too late. And it's simply too much of an advantage. And Inspired saying, wave the white flag. I think that was a suggestion, not a proclamation. And underneath the tower, Inspired will steal the soul and jumps away. That was fantastic. I truly wish Inspired could hear and see that.
Oh my god. I mean, Jezu didn't even have the flash. He did have the flash there. He opted for the rocket jump instead, and you know, it just fell apart. And now 30 seconds onto soul point, or just the soul actually from the side of Rogue. They already have the Baron, and take a look at the team fight again, because for Treatz, for SK, we already mentioned the gold deficit, but he doesn't have a flash. He has the gold on the Olaf. And right now, when Lilipp jumps in, there's no one to follow him. Jezus can't just jump in. The Jenax flank has already been found out, and then Trymbi. This is just beautiful with the Rakan. After finding a charm already once, finds it on 2 other members, which enables the rest of the kill, which enables the chase down on towards Jezu as well.
Congratulations, Rogue. This is your game to lose. 14,000 up. One small, I don't even know if I want to say mistake, one decision from Lilipp gets punished. The engage, it's turned around, and from there, it's unlocked. Now, this is the way a number 1 versus number 10 game I think most people would expect, and it is beautiful from Rogue. Please, 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 do not discount it. But those early mistakes allowed this snowball to happen so much quicker.
This is Rogue at their best, and I want no one to make that mistake. SK could have done nothing at that Baron because they're already so far behind in that early game, and now heading into the mid game, Rogue just didn't commit to those mistakes that we have seen every now and then. This was just what we wanted to come out from them.
Well, 27 minutes on the clock. Baron empowered minions, 2 inhibitors already down. Will Rogue style on SK once again? Do you watch Simpsons at all, by any chance?
Oh no, stop that already. Fight breaking out.
I'm trying to remember whose voice it is. Stop, stop, stop! They're already dead! Lilipp is running for his life. It's the rest of Rogue continue to push forward. This will guarantee a first seed. This will allow Rogue to choose between Misfits or G2 Esports.
Yeah, and right now the turrets, they're falling apart. The next minion waves are coming in. With the Baron right now, it's a matter of time for SK. The fight needs to come out now.
That's a fantastic charm. Engage, multi-man knock-up, and the shockwave does little to dissuade the onslaught.
A 2021 summer now for Rogue. No one above them. Everyone below for the 3rd time in a row for Rogue now. They put themselves in 1st place in the regular split.
They are definitely styling for the moment as Rogue take down SK. Oh, I mean, look at the smiles. Guldborg, they knew they had it in the bag. They knew they were performing. And now they know that Rogue, for the 3rd season consecutively, is your regular season number 1.
And they did it exactly how we wanted it from
And
them.
for anyone who's going to criticize this, they tied for 1st in spring. However, the fact remains 3 splits in a row, they have remained 1st. But what this means, we say goodbye to SK for 2021. We'll see them again next year. And for everyone watching at home, Mad Lions will now place a 2nd seed in playoffs. G2 3rd, Misfits 4th. Rogue will have the ability to choose Misfits or
G2.
Which means they'll be going for Misfits. I don't know if stats can hear me. What is the win-loss between Misfits and Rogue all time? I'll get that number for you in just a moment. But we do have to say goodbye to SK. Had the Lilipp Treatz roster been there from the start, how different it could have been.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a sad story as well, because we do see the potential in some of these players as well, but we already know Treatz will go back to the support role as well, going into the next split as well, so there is more to come out, and it's going to be exciting to see what they decide on. But once again, Rogue solidifying themselves as the best team in the regular split here.
Yeah, definitely the case. And in this game, I want to know who you thought was the best player. Key up player of the game nominees at LEC on Twitter. Larssen, Hans, and Trymbi. It's always interesting watching those games because it's so clearly individual players outclassing, macro outclassing, and
it's so tough.
I can see on stage right now, Blue giving his coach, you know, a hug, saying goodbye to the stage. We say goodbye to SK. We say congratulations to Rogue, number 1 in the postseason. We'll talk a lot more about them. This game, they didn't have any other problems in Rogue time. We'll hear from Odo before it's time for the most important matchup of the day. Vitality and Astralis are fighting for their lives in a race for playoffs. Only one of them will keep it alive.
movement is the heart of the most creative plays. I'm back again with Kia to give you the chance to show millions of viewers around the world your ability to move like no one else. We're inviting you to show your biggest and most inspirational plays. And if you've truly got what it takes, then your play will be cast by me during the LEC Finals, just like a pro.
Kia, movement that inspires.
A lion!
Oh yes, the king of the jungle. Time for a quick Red Bull?
Red Bull? But you still won't be quicker than the lion!
I don't have to be quicker than the lion, just quicker than you.
Red Bull gives you wings.
And welcome back to the LEC, the end of Super Week, and Rogue won. Finally, you grabbed first seed. Odoamne, thank you for joining me. How do you feel today compared to yesterday?
I mean, obviously better.
Yeah.
I feel like today's game was kind of the same as yesterday's game, minus the fat throw. So, yeah, I mean, I think everyone was a bit scarred from the way we threw yesterday, so we're just kind of just chilling it and trying to be a bit more clean, because I feel like yesterday's game was clean up until a point where we just did a big fat throw. So yeah, we didn't really want to throw it again like we did yesterday. But overall, yeah, spirits are high. We lost big time yesterday, but we didn't really. It wasn't really like a tough loss. So people weren't really like tilted or whatever. It was more like sad that we threw in such a way.
We'll have to talk about this, obviously, but before that, you know how yesterday I promised you that I will give you a cookie if you won Player of the Game. You lost the game, obviously, but still, I want to make up for it because the last interview we had, I feel like I roasted you a bit too harsh. So here's your cookies, since Anton apparently doesn't give you any at the gaming house. So how do you feel right now? You feel comfortable? Do you like the cookies?
I feel great. I mean,
you can taste them afterwards. They're super good, honestly.
They look yum. But
they're super yummy. So now that you have something yummy in hands,
Lord.
Let's dive into something a bit more complicated because now you're comfortable. I want to talk about the RAF topics, the mid-game for Rogue. I don't know if you saw the tweets that Ashley posted yesterday about how the past 20-minute time for Rogue, I kind of became a meme with the Korean community, and they say that after the 30-minute window, while you decide to throw gold leads and you do debatable in-game decisions, how did that make you feel to know that Rogue kind of became a meme for that?
I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah. Because now that's a nice...
it's a nice graphic, right?
Yeah, it's very nice. I mean, everyone has its own meme, no? I'd rather be known for throwing big leads than being bad. So, yeah, I mean, at least this is the way we're getting memed. Other teams are getting memed for far worse. So I can't even imagine what they say about like Fnatic and teams like that. I mean, yeah, Fnatic was throwing shade on us for not making walls, but it seems like now they're in a more dire position.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I would like to see what Koreans say about that. But it's fun. I mean, it's all good banter because I feel like Korean community always has a unique way of flaming people and finding memes because they're really creative. You know, it's not like oh, you're just bad and stuff. You know, they go really next level and become very creative with their memes and stuff. So it would actually be fun to know what's the stereotype for every team.
And actually, I think it's a nice sign to know that the Korean community thinks about you as a strong team regardless. And I mean, about these 20-minute slip-ups, I know that Freddie told me that it's something you want to work on for playoffs, so we'll see how that goes for you. But I mean, with this victory, you grab first seed. And as Trevor said earlier, it means that Mad goes second, G2 goes third, and Misfits fourth. So you know that you're going to have to choose between G2 and Misfits. I don't want to give too much because you'll get to reveal what's going on later. But
it's going to be a big surprise.
It's going to be a big surprise, right?
Yep.
And I want to talk about the mental edge that you get from being first and actually getting to choose your team. How does that make you feel?
I wouldn't say like it matters so much because at the end of the day, you kind of just get side selection in first game. Yeah, obviously you get to pick whoever you want to play. And usually it's really stacked, you know. Top 4 is always really stacked with teams kind of being in same form or like relatively same strength. So it's not as much of a deal, you know. Could also just be easier for the teams that are like in third or fourth where they're just chilling and then someone picks them and they have to play, you know. There's not like a clear outlier that someone is like really, really significantly worse than the other team like we used to see in previous seasons and stuff like this. So it's, yeah, you just get side selection in first game because from as far as I know, if you lose, you get side selection and so on. So it's on paper, yeah, it's like a big deal, but in reality, not so much.
Okay. And I mean, you've been used to being third. I mean, it's third time in a row that you get the first seed. So we'll see how it goes for you this time around.
Maybe better this time.
Maybe better this time. We'll know in 2 weeks. But for now, Odo, thank you for the interview. Enjoy the cookies.
Thank you.
And see you in 2 weeks. And we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back in a couple of minutes for a very important game today. Astralis takes on Vitality. The loser is eliminated from playoff contention. You don't want to miss it.